and Wayne Gacy showed off his handcuff trick. One of the creepiest serial killers ever to have lived was John Wayne Gacy, who murdered 33 men and boys in and around Cook County, Illinois, in the 1970s. He was popular in his local community as he often entertained at children's birthday parties and charity events dressed as Pogo the Clown. Gacy tricked his victims into wearing handcuffs by showing them a magic trick. First, he would place the handcuffs on himself, then he would turn his back and take the handcuffs off. The victim would be impressed and ask how the trick was done, so Gacy would tell them to put their hands out and he'd show them the same trick. Unfortunately, there was no easy escape from the handcuffs and now the victim was unable to fight back. Sinisterly, Gacy also told them before the murder, "The real trick is you've got to have the key." Former Des Plaines officer Mike Albrecht said, "Gacy was just pure evil. He was just an evil man too." 6. John Christie became a house doctor for those who were desperate. Born in 1899, John Christie was unable to ever speak loudly after he was injured as an infantryman and suffered hysterical muteness during the First World War. Following his discharge, he turned to crime, soon racking up the criminal record for theft and assault. He soon moved from petty crime to murder. Between 1943 and 1953, he had killed 8 known victims despite having no medical experience. Christie lured his victims to 10 Rillington Place in Notting Hill, London, by promising he could cure ailments and perform surgeries ranging from chest infections to abortions. Once in his trap, Christie would force his victims to fall unconscious by either strangulation or with domestic gas. He sexually assaulted some as they were helpless before him. He hid the bodies of 3 of his victims in an alcove of the kitchen at his home and even buried his own wife under the floorboards. On July 15, 1953, Christie was sentenced to death and hanged at Pentonville Prison in London. 3 10 creepily inappropriate day jobs of infamous serial killers. 5 Green River Killer showed pictures of his son Gary. Green River Killer Ridgway led police investigators on a wild goose chase for decades as he manipulated evidence such as moving bodies over state lines, clipping the fingernails of victims who had scratched him, or by leaving cigarette butts. He was a non-smoker. At the crime scene, Ridgway first became a suspect 1 year after the murders had begun, but he managed to successfully pass a polygraph test. Over the next 16 years, he was able to continue murdering female victims, who were mostly sex workers near Seattle and Tacoma, Washington, bringing his total known victim count to 49. The way Ridgway would trick women into his truck was to show them pictures of his son. This would then put them at ease as they trusted him and even willingly went back to his home. There, the serial killer strangled them to death during sexual intercourse before dumping their nude bodies at the Green River in Seattle. 4.